Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts, and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Welcome everybody. So let's take a look again on the Bitcoin market. In general, in the long-term perspective, everything stands the same. So you can see great sentiment in the market, great performance. So actually for the long-term, we have nothing to add. So we are waiting for the next long-term destination target around 75. So those who keep the coins for the long-term, I think they nothing have to do, just enjoy the overall action and manage your risk. That's actually all that you could do if you're investing in the coins and keep them for a long period. For those who are mostly trading on the Bitcoin and watching for position taking opportunities, so we have some moments that might be useful, or at least you could take it into consideration when you make your trading plan for trading. So first of all, on the longer term chart, although our major destination point that we suggest should be around 75, here we still can't ignore the target that important from the Judge Napoli point of view. And this is, well, in general, the overall performance on the monthly chart, since it has started and since the market has broken through this previous top and actually has moved just for a couple of months above it, that was obviously the volatility breakout pattern. It happens very rare on markets because market have to break the long-term overbought or oversold area that's set for the years on the market. And this, as you understand, could happen maybe not oftener than in a decade, maybe, or even at least 5-6 years. So on the Bitcoin, actually, this is in fact for the first time, and that was volatility breakout. And we said that following all this pattern, first it should be some collapse after volatility breakout, and it should be deep, as it has happened. In fact, we've got the 618, almost 618 support here. But the target of this pattern, at least the COP, so means the 618 extension of the whole volatility breakout pattern. So we need to take A, B, C bottom, calculate the 618 extension, and as a result, you could get the 67,000, slightly above the previous top. Maybe this target will be passed as it now exists. The market will just show the acceleration. But also, it is possible that here might be some kind of the wash and rinse could happen, and that could be triggered some deeper retracement. So market on the monthly chart could turn to form something else. At least keep an eye on the 67. It might be interesting if some retracement really will start out there, and that could provide you the chance to take the position at the better price if you're considering taking the long position on the high time frames, on the monthly and the weekly chart. So this is definitely the target that we need to keep an eye on. Although, as you can see on the weekly chart, our major destination point stands at the 75. This is actually butterfly first extension. Potentially, if market will keep going with the same pace that it's going right now, so you can see here is it much faster than the initial upward action with the acceleration, and that significantly increased chances to see market at the 1618 extension. And 1618 will be around 87. So that will be potentially more extended target. But first, let's keep watching on this one. Second important moment that you could get on the weekly chart is actually if market will hit the 67 and right at the overbought area. So we've got Judge Napoli pattern, which is called as a KB trade, because there will be extension. It's very, very important on the monthly charts around 67, and that will be weekly overbought, which potentially is a bearish combination, at least technically bearish. It doesn't mean that it will change the sentiment and overall tendency, but it could change, it could trigger some short-term retracement here. Well, short-term is a relative issue on the weekly chart, so it might stand for months or even longer. But some barrier here definitely will exist, and this market will hit the 67. That's what about the longer term perspective. In the shorter term, we're mostly focused on this A, B, CD pattern, guys. Although with this speed of the CD leg, it's really high chances that it will proceed higher to the XLP extension, which is actually agrees with the target of the butterfly. So butterfly is 75 approximately, while the XLP will be 77. So this stands very close to each other. But we are currently interested for an OP target by a few reasons. First of all, let's take a look. Market stands right now they were bought on the weekly. It's important. Second, here the OP agrees with the previous all-time high that stands right here. So we will get the finish the OP right here. And once OP will be reached, it's also in the weekly overbought, that will that could be some background for retracement. Since here we have excellent thrusting action, which is suitable for the Jordan Applet pattern, I would suggest that appearing of the bread and butter buy trade here could be just great chance to take the position. You have the great sentiment, you have great performance, which makes it, well, with a very small risk and attempt to go long based on the possible bread and butter trade. So for short-term trading, for short-term purposes, I would suggest the reaching of the OP target around 64. Maybe it will be again flirting around the top, maybe grabbing some stops. I don't know, maybe market will exceed even action to the 67. By the way, the reaching of the 67 might be a result of the trigger on the stops above the previous all-time high. It's also possible. So market just could hit the COP, grab the stops above the P point, and then starts retracement. Whatever it will be, and despite what the manner will action take, you need to keep an eye on thrust and on retracement. Whether it will start from the 64 or market will climb slightly higher to the 67 and then starts to pull back. It doesn't matter. So once we'll get the bread and butter here, it will be a good chance to step in, because it will provide you very small risk and really great probability of success. So that's, I think, the major pattern that we could keep an eye on. Most probable that it should be, well, at least preferably, it will be if market will show the pullback from the confluence, including the major 30% support. So you can see on the full time frame chart, around the major 30% is a confluence. So it's not, right now it stands 53, 54, 50. So supposedly bread and butter should start somewhere from this level. At least it will be nice if it will happen. Once market will climb slightly high, you just need to tie the levels to the new top that could be formed here following the market, and levels also will be adjusted higher. So, but the structure of the levels remains the same. You need to keep an eye on the confluence that stands right here around the 30% support. That's our short-term view on Bitcoin market. On the lower time frames, guys, currently I do not see something really interesting. No patterns. And that's usually a typical story when your market is coming to the important target on the daily chart. So market just stands a few cents below the major target. Usually on lower time frames, you will see something really interesting, except maybe some finalizing pattern. For example, on the top here, what we could suggest, maybe the butterfly that could complete the final target on a daily chart, something of that sort. Maybe market will form to complete the destination point. 618 butterfly, for example. That agrees with the OP on the daily chart, and maybe by using this forming of this butterfly, market could finalize. But this is really minor detail, well, that you could keep in consideration. We are not talking about taking the short position here. It is mostly this for scalp purposes, and doesn't relate to our common view with the bullish sentiment on the market. But it doesn't mean that it's forbidden. So if you feel comfortable with trading on the lower time frames and hourly and below time frames, you of course could keep an eye on some bearish patterns. For instance, here's might be hand and shoulders to form right at the top. So here's butterfly, and hand and shoulders could be formed right on top as well, as usually happens in the moment of some reversals on the lower time frames as well. So something of that sort also we could get. So that is all the subjects for scalp traders. So you could also keep an eye on. But for our purposes, is more important is watching for a bullish pattern. That might be the bread and butter buy on a daily chart.